Hello, and welcome to episode 65 of Wrong End of the Stick podcast with me, Zach Eaton, and skipper Jonathan Nimmo. It has been a while, so apologies to all you keen listeners and fans out there for our absence.
Can we apologise in advance for the worst episode we're ever going to do of this podcast and promise that we'll try harder next time? Or is that too soon, given we have like 30 seconds in?
I think an advance apology is apt, actually, because it's been a busy couple of months, and for those listeners, all two of you in England, it's been a busy time and an up and down time with lockdown and restrictions and stuff, and we've not been keeping up, have we? Really?
We haven't. We're a little bit out of the loop, and we're a little bit. Yeah, we're really not prepared for today at all, but we've decided we're going to hit record and see what happens, which it rarely ends well when we do things like that, but you know what, let's go for it. And
I was going to say that's how I usually do things.
Well, it kind of is, but I normally feel a little bit more prepared or a little bit more something, I don't know what, but yeah, today we'll see how it goes, so bear with us, and if you hate this episode, come back next week and we'll try and do better then, so there you are.
Brill. So what's in store out of our menagerie of topics and current events going on in the world of cricket today?
I mean, there is a lot going on, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's why we're just struggling to keep up with it, with our,
That's it. It's just too much.
Things. There's just too much going on. But there is a lot of cricket happening around. I mean, since we last recorded, England have managed to, tank all of their series with India, so that happened. But we have got so there's lots of cricket just starting. Actually, it's kind of that sort of just beginning of season kind of vibes at the moment. So we've got the county championship, which is most of their matches are on the second day of the first round of matches right now, which is good and exciting to have county cricket back in England. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We've got the IPL starting today, and we've got international series coming up as well. So there's things happening all over the place. We just don't know anything about any of it. So, it's fine. The hundreds come in as well. There's all kinds of things.
It's all happening. It's all happening. On it's a little bit of kind of related news on the county cricket championship at the moment is that Joe Root is going to be facing his brother, or is currently facing his brother.
Yeah, I think currently facing. Yeah. And I think, are we going to fess up and admit where we got that news from?
Yes, absolutely. So about half an hour ago, I kind of let my mum know that I was going to be doing the cricket podcast. She was like, "Oh, you haven't done that for a while." I said, "Yes, I know, Mum." And then proceeded to say, "Oh, Joe Root's playing his brother against Glenmorgan." I was like, "That's great."
So yeah, that's where our source of cricket comes from, your mum, who's not interested in cricket at all, and I don't think even listens to us, does she?
No,
indeed. So there we are. That's where we're getting our info from. But while we're on that, Billy Root playing number 4 for Glenmorgan, he got 43. He got 43 for 126 balls, so he stuck around for a while. He wasn't scoring much, but he stuck around for a while. And Joe Root, so that was on the way to 330 for Glamorgan in the first innings. Yorkshire are in and batting currently, but they've slipped to 85 for 4, with Joe Root only getting 16. So he took 59 balls to get there as well. So he was hanging around a lot as well. So interesting little rivalry there. But yeah, so far Billy getting the upper hand over his brother with bragging rights.
That's it, a little bit of sibling rivalry there. Love a bit of that, don't we?
Yeah, and Billy Root's bowled a couple of overs as well, so he'll be trying to get his brother out, I reckon. Can you imagine? That conversation after if he managed to get him out?
Yeah, it'd be a very awkward dinner table, wouldn't it, back at the Root household?
I mean, I'll be honest, before this, I didn't really know Joe Root had a brother that played, to be honest. But
I think I heard beforehand that he had a brother, and I think it was in the T20 stuff a couple of years back that he was playing, but I didn't know.
I mean, I should know. He's got 5 first-class centuries, so I really should have known about him. 1,700 runs under his belt. 28. He's still. And
he's Root's younger brother, right?
Yeah. I don't know how old Joe Root is, but yeah, he's yeah, he's older than 28, definitely. So
Okay.
I know he looks about 16, but he's definitely older than that. So.
They both look about 16, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They look remarkably similar, actually. It's quite funny. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting going up against your brother and things. That adds an interesting slant to the matches and things that are ongoing, doesn't it? So yeah, interesting one.
I think it's quite funny when you see it in sport. I think recently it was like the International Indoor Athletics Championships, the European ones. And there's these 3 Norwegian long distance brothers. I forget their names now. But it's so funny that they're just all kind of in it to win it, but all still, have a really good sort of relationship. And that must be, it's slightly different because it's not obviously a team sport. You don't have the pressure from your teammates and stuff. But I often think to myself, how do you kind of manage that? It's difficult enough if you've got, it could be awkward enough anyway if you've got friends on the opposing team. But you see it in professional sport, frequently.
Yeah.
But family, messy business.
Well, is your sister not going to sign up for our six-a-side cricket team when we get that up and running? How is that going to go? She outperforms you in that?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, I think, since I'm definitely not. You would probably see a different competitive streak in me if that was the case, and not a very healthy one. It'd be very cheap tactics and most likely cheating involved, and some pranks going on. But yeah, we'll just have to cross that bridge when it comes to
spirit of the game in jeopardy. I think is what you're
absolutely.
Is what you're trying to say there.
Oh God, no! Spirit of the game goes out of the window when it comes to sibling rivalry. So, how about you? How would you fare if you had a sibling in on the opposing team, or umpiring even?
Umpiring. Oh, I don't know what that'd be. Well, if I was umpiring for my brother, that would be.
That's it.
I mean, I'd probably just give him out for the sake of it on a really dodgy call because I think it'd be quite funny. And I don't think spirit of the game comes into that. But I think that would just be for the sheer fun of it. That would be hilarious.
That's exactly where I would be at. You see, there's a difference as a sibling. You kind of say, could have been out, but they're my brother, they're my sister, I'll leave them in. Or you're the complete opposite and say, that's definitely going down the leg, but nah, in the finger. Off you go.
Absolutely, yeah.
See you in the car.
I'm with you on that one. Definitely with you on that one. If it's first ball, all the better. That's what.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Anything hitting pads, that would be it. But wouldn't even stand a chance. I wouldn't even wait for the ball to hit. I'd just finger it be up before it gets to the other end. I'm sure I could find some reason for it to be out. So, oh dear, excellent. Yeah, spirit of cricket definitely taking a hit today. Oh dear. But yeah, while we are talking county championship, so I was looking up who was the likely winners and favourites and things, and Yorkshire are up there with the among the favourites to win the county championship. So it's generally speaking being looked at somewhere between Essex, Yorkshire, and Somerset as the favourites to win. But Yorkshire obviously not starting terribly well today. This game anyway. They're going to struggle to catch up with Glamorgan there. On the first innings, by the look of it, they lost 4 early wickets. They need a partnership, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But yeah, Yorkshire won't be happy at the moment, but it'll be interesting to see where they go. So yeah, who are you supporting in that? Do you support Surrey or something? Do you? You claim some tenuous link, don't you?
Yeah, so it'd be Surrey for me purely because no one from my family is really from Surrey at all.
But you went there once.
Some of my family live there. But yeah, some of my family kind of live there, and they're all from Surrey and quite posh, and it just seems like a likely thing I should link up to, because I'm nowhere near Essex or Somerset, am I? Or Yorkshire for that. I think Surrey's like geographically. Yeah, that's it. They're the geographically closest thing, and there is a very tenuous link to it. So I guess I've no idea who's in the team. Is there any notable players? Let's have a look. I don't think so.
In the Surrey team?
Yeah.
No. Did you say Surrey? Yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who's in the Surrey team, to be honest with you. Let's find out. It's a voyage of discovery together. This is what we're doing, you know.
Ooh, the website looks quite nice.
There you are. What do you want? So yeah, I think Surrey are in Division 2. So I think they are definitely in Division 2. Yeah. So they're definitely not going to win the championship because they can't.
No. I do like their kit though. Might have to.
What, the one-day kit?
Yeah. Oh. The blue Adidas with the turquoise, nice little hats there as well. So if you are interested, we'll leave a link to the Surrey County Cricket shop in the description, and you can go have a look.
If you are still listening, we warned you today was going to be chaotic. Yeah. So you know you've only yourself to blame if you're still listening. That's all I'm going to say.
That's it.
So,
That's it.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, but yeah, well, for Surrey, for the sake of evenness, so Surrey were bowled out of 220 in their first innings, and Gloucestershire 172 for 3. So yeah, I mean it's not looking great for Surrey to start with, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
But you know, there you are. First innings, who top scored? Who would you know from the Surrey team? Jamie Overton, he's a good quick bowler. Reece Topley, decent bowler as well. Ben Fawkes, of course, Ben Fawkes. I love Ben Fawkes.
Yeah, of course he was.
He's in the team, so and you got Rory Burns as well. There you are. Rory Burns is captain, and Ollie Pope. How on earth with Hashim Amla as well? I mean, one, I think, how did you only get 220 runs? And two, that's a decent team. That is.
That is a decent team, actually.
You'd be looking at that thinking, yeah, they could compete with anyone, but apparently just not Gloucestershire. So.
Just trying to have a look at Jamie Overton. I heard something that Jamie Overton has a yeah. Look, speaking of sibling rivalry.
Oh yeah, of course, Craig
twin brother. Yeah.
Are they
twins?
There you go. Well, there you go.
He's
yeah, because they're sort of on the fringes. They're sort of on the fringes of the England team, particularly around the sort of T20s and stuff at the moment. So they could well they stay fit. Get themselves into. Imagine it'll be Overton. You could have the two Curran brothers, you know, two roots. You know, we could fill a team off about 4 families here, so
that's it.
Not a problem.
It's a syndicate.
Just not our families. There you
go. Should we go on to? You've been doing a little bit of digging on. For those, I don't think we've ever mentioned it in this podcast, but you are a big fan of the fantasy football leagues that they do every year.
Yes, I am indeed. Although it's going terribly for me this year, but the less said about that, the better. Pandemic, there's an excuse, it's fine.
That's it.
But yeah, so I was looking for one, and we sort of flirted with the idea before of doing it, and I thought, well, maybe this year we would do the one for the IPL to help us kind of get a bit more into the IPL, because we started to get a bit into it last year. But we're going to try and do it again this year, and I thought this would be a good way to learn about some of the other players from the teams that we don't always watch. But weirdly, the official one that has been up and running before is not available to anyone from the UK. So I don't know why that is, but that seems a little bit harsh. But I have found a sort of non-official one where you can put a team together. So I've been doing that over the last little while. And you've got 34 minutes to do your team, so hopefully you're going to put one together as well, but just not live on the pod. So I'm going to run through my team and see what you reckon to it.
Okay.
Now, I'm not 100% sure how the scoring system works here, but effectively it wants me to pick 4 batsmen, 2 all-rounders, a wicketkeeper, and 4 bowlers, which makes sense, and then 4 emergency players. Okay. I've gone down the route of ignoring the emergency players and picking the 4 cheapest players so I can get the best players in my main team. Because that seemed a logical choice to me. If I need my emergency players, I'm stuffed. But so my 4 batsmen, and you can give me your verdict on these. I've got Faf du Plessis, A.B. de Villiers, Owen Morgan, and David Malan, which I felt was pretty solid. So I think A.B. de Villiers might be the most expensive player on my team No, not quite second. But I figured it covered a few teams. So we've got Chennai, Bangalore, Kolkata, and Punjab Kings 11, all covered at those 4. And they were all good, solid choices. All been there, all done that, all experienced, and all going to score solid runs. What do you reckon?
So the first, can you repeat the first guy? I mean, the AB, Owen, and Milan.
Yeah,
I think all solid.
Faf du Plessis, yeah. So the South African guy.
A lot of big hitters.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's a very aggressive, definitely a very aggressive, swashbuckly team of batsmen there.
Absolutely. But I think with AB de Villiers and Owen Morgan, you're going to get solid runs every time there.
Yeah. Okay, good choices.
Yeah. My 2 all-rounders are Kieran Pollard from the Mumbai Indians and Sunil Narine from KKR. I think Narine is just
definitely a good fit.
Phenomenal bowler and can bat. And I think Pollard, again, just that good, solid all-round. I also don't think I had anybody else from Mumbai Indians, so I wanted, a bit of coverage from that team in case they go on and do well. My wicket-keeper, you probably won't be surprised, is Jos Buttler.
Okay.
And then my bowlers, I mean, I went more heavy on the batsmen, I'm not going to lie. So my bowlers are cheap. So my bowlers, well, my most expensive player is a bowler, but it's Jofra Archer, who's just been phenomenal in the IPL for the last 3-4 years. So I couldn't live with the team without him. And my other 3 bowlers are Andrew Tye, the Australian bowler, Washington Sundar, who England ran into, and then Amit Mishra from Delhi Capitals. He's, again, those 2 are definitely on the cheap side because I was struggling to fit my budget. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I've definitely gone on the cheaper of the bowling side and gone heavier on the batsman. But I'd be confident in that team. That team can't forget anyone. That seems like a solid team.
I think you got a good team there.
Yeah.
I think some of the bowlers' names I don't know, but.
Well, Washington Sundar is the spinning, slightly all-rounder-ish kind of bowler that England faced in India, and Amit Mishra was fairly new to me until I need a cheap bowler, and he was cheap. So, he's been around a bit. It's he's a leg break bowler. So, yeah,
definitely heavy on the batting side, at least as far as I can see. But some good picks in the in the field as well. So. You got a good pick there, Skipper.
Thanks.
Who are your emergency players?
I've never heard of any of them. Ripal Patel from the Delhi Capitals, Pavan Deshpande from the Royal Challengers Bangalore, Surkar Bharat from Bangalore, and Marco Janssen. I don't know Marco Janssen. I don't even know where he's from, but I mean that sounds like South African. There you go. But yeah, they were literally the 4 cheapest players that I could pick up. Because I needed them to be the 4 cheapest, because otherwise I couldn't afford all of my other big hitting players. So they are. So if you do want to take part, you can go to cricket11.com, so that's cricketxi.com, and you can pick your own team. I mean, to get in for the first round, you've got 29 minutes to do it, and by the time you're listening to this, because I'm not going to release this podcast in the next 29 minutes, you've missed the first round. But hey, come and join us for the second round, because I reckon you're probably going to miss the first round as well, aren't you? You're not going to get this done in that time, are you?
Well, I don't know. I've kind of almost logged in to the thing.
Take the 28 minutes to log in and then hammer through your players and you'll be fine. But yeah, when it told me I had like £1 million in it, I was like, great. And I just hammered all, and then I realised I had to pick, a whole bunch of other people. I ended 3 players short the first time I did it because I just spent all my money. I was like, oh, he looks good, and he looks good. How Moeen Ali is the second most expensive player in the thing, I don't understand. But hey, you know what? Good for him.
Fair play.
Yeah, so there you are. That's where we're at with that. And obviously we will be supporting if anyone hasn't listened for a while. So I am a nominal Kolkata Knight Riders supporter, and you are a nominal Sunrisers Hyderabad fan, aren't you? And I do still owe you a T-shirt from the last time that We went up, so
Yes.
I will pay my debt.
I was waiting all throughout Christmas.
But the problem was the t-shirt that I
t-shirt.
planned to get you was out of stock and continues to be out of stock. I do keep checking it occasionally, so I'm just going to give up on that one. You're going to get a slightly less fun, but equally, cheesy t-shirt with David Hasselhoff's face on it. So,
That's it.
So yes,
I will go for jerseys. Just to kind of track back, we were going to go for getting each other the jersey of the team that we've obviously nominally supported, but I just thought that since it's Knight Riders, I think a t-shirt of Hasselhoff would have been equally as impactful.
And quite a lot cheaper than the jersey, so I appreciate that, so, which is good. But shall we do our same bet again? So whichever team gets furthest or does best in the overall thing, we'll have the same bet again. So you could end up with 2 t-shirts by the time we're finished. So,
at the same time.
Yeah, quite possibly.
The following year.
I will get it before the end of the tournament, I promise. There you are. There you are. But there you are. Sunrisers had about our 4th favourites for the title, for the overall IPL, and the Knight Riders are 5th. So, it could be close. It'd be interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got that to look forward to. We've got the 100 coming, which I know a lot of people aren't looking forward to, but it's an extra bit of cricket. So, you know what? We've lived for a long time without sport and stuff happening, so just enjoy it all while it comes is my attitude at the moment. So there's been all kinds of things with players being announced and stuff, and I think we covered some of it already, and I think there's tickets now starting to be on sale, so there's a bit of hype starting to build up a little bit, and I think there's hope that they're going to have some fans in when the games finally get going, which would be really nice. Awesome. But the other bit is there's been a couple of announcements of women's players on announcing that they're going to be playing in it, and the big one that I was kind of looking for and hoping she would sign for the Northern Superchargers, but she hasn't, is Elise Perry. So Elise Perry, the Australian superstar, to be honest, I think she was certainly named like female cricketer of the decade, and I think she was cricketer of the year, and she's won all kinds of awards, and she just rips apart pretty much anybody she comes into. I think I'm right in saying that she's also the first person to play internationally both football and cricket for Australia.
Yeah, she's the youngest Australian to play international cricket and the first to have appeared in both the ICC and FIFA World Cups.
Both in World Cups, man alive. I mean, can you imagine that? Being that good at sport that you can be in two World Cups with 2 different sports. That's insane.
And completely different sports.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, exactly. They're not even like a similar skill set. So it's like, this is utterly crazy to be that talented. But yeah, so she's going to be joining Birmingham Phoenix. So, you've got to be putting, that's got to be on the watch list of getting down to watch her. That would be, that would be great to do if we can get out and see her. That would be fantastic. And they've also, Birmingham Phoenix have also got Sophie Devine, who's New Zealand's star player as well in there. So that squad is, you've got to be putting them as favourites to win. Even if they have no bowlers, even if they have us bowling for them, they're going to be a challenge for anyone. So that's quite exciting. And the other one player that's been announced there is Sarah Taylor, who's the English wicketkeeper. And she's sort of semi-retired, but is coming back to play in the 100, which is another big.
That's excellent.
Sorry,
that's excellent. Yeah, I think I saw some games with her against the when the Aussies were around last year, actually.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's. I mean, if you see some of the hundreds of her player, it's fantastic to watch. So so she's playing for the Welsh Fire. So that's going to be really good to see. So yeah, it's good to have those sort of star players coming into the women's side of things as well. Hopefully generate a bit of interest on that side of things. So yeah, it's all exciting times.
Aye, blimey.
Good times.
Awesome. Well, despite not doing any prep, I think we've covered a fair bit of
we have
kind of homegrown and international cricket there.
We have.
Melding nicely into the hundreds and IPL.
Yes, and of course we still have our. I keep going to call it our new feature. It's not new at all now. It's several months old. But are you ready for Empire Strikes Back?
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Always ready. It's my favourite part.
Good times. Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Yes.
You go first this time. Give me. So for anybody new listening, I mean, if you're new listening and you're still with us after this shambles, then well, you've done well, and you're never going to leave us now. This is our quiz game where we challenge each other with unusual and strange umpiring situations, and the other person has to give their best educated guess of what they would do in that situation. And I'm not going to lie, a bit of a humble brag here, but we're pretty good at getting these right, aren't we?
I think we'll do a good job, actually.
We do pretty well at getting these, so here we are. We'll try and keep our run going. So yeah, hit me with the first one.
So this is an example that reminds me of, and bearing in mind I do try and bowl, quite quickly. This
I
actually
think
reminds
try
me
might be the operative word in that. But
yeah, absolutely. So let's see what you think of this scenario. A spinner. He he bowls a delivery. It goes ridiculously high, ridiculously slow.
I mean, this is more like my bowling at this point. But
obviously, as a batsman, the batsman comes out to meet the ball. Out of his crease, misses, hits some LBW. Hits his pad. Umpire, is obviously calling it. Square leg says it's too slow, and it wouldn't have reached the stumps. What do you do?
Oh man,
That's
tough because I genuinely don't know. So what's the umpire? The square leg has given it as like a no ball or something, presumably.
Well, he hasn't said anything yet. He's just said it's too slow, and it wouldn't have hit the stumps. You've seen it. It's obviously in line, no matter how slow and ridiculous the delivery was.
This does feel like something that could come up in our 6-a-side game. It genuinely does.
Right.
It probably already has come up, actually. If it's going too slow, wouldn't hit the stumps. For me, that's a no ball. So I think I'd be given no ball.
You'd be given no ball?
Yeah, but I have a horrible feeling you're going to say no, it's out anywhere. But I'm going with saying it's a no ball because I think it has to be getting to the point where it would have hit the stump, surely. So yeah, I'm going no ball.
Well, unfortunately, you are wrong. You called it as LBW. You would need to tell your colleague to stake it to back off. It's essentially down to what you call and the line and length of the ball. So
yeah, I had a horrible feeling that was going to be the answer, but
yeah. So they don't have a kind of say square leg on the legality of like a delivery in terms of the height and speed of stuff. They're literally there to look at the crease and that side of things. So
is that right?
Your decision would stand in that case. Obviously, if they inquire to it, you're well within your right to say, well, yeah, no, thanks for your opinion, but it's in line. It's hit him. He's out.
Wow, there you go. I'm wrong. So after saying we're doing pretty well, I've gone and got one wrong. So there you go. Excellent. I think that might be the first one I got wrong as well.
I think that is actually, yeah.
Lost my 100% record. Good instinct told me I was wrong as well. I knew I was wrong, but
it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one because you would obviously seek that kind of advice, and if your square leg comes up to you and says wouldn't have gone on to here, then you would think, okay, well, I'll take that advice, but no, it's your call, and that call needs to stay.
Right. Are you ready for yours?
Yes.
It's a bit of a complicated one, so I'll run through it. I'll try and run through it slowly. But it's a simple decision at the end of it, but it's quite a complicated one, right? So the batsman hits a straight drive towards back, sort of roughly towards you. It hits the non-striker's batsman's bat and knocks it out of his hand. So in playing the shot, the striker, so the guy who's hit the ball, has dropped his own bat. The batsman run, and the non-striker dives for his ground, but falls short as the wicket is put down. But his hand is touching the handle of the striker's bat, if that makes sense.
So they both dropped their bats.
So basically both dropped their bats. The non-striker has run, he's dived, and in diving he's touched, he's got hold of his partner's bat, and which is grounded and behind the popping crease. So he's he's behind the line.
Yeah.
The bat, he's grabbed hold of the bat. The end of the bat is in. The fielding side appeal. What do you do? It's an interesting one, isn't it? So, have you got what's happened there?
Yeah, I do. I'm just trying to think, because the question really is the object an extension of the player here? And just because they're on the same side, I'm not sure that the other batsman's bat would count as an extension of the other striker. And I think for those reasons that it would still be out. I don't think, because if I used, if it didn't have a glove, for example, or his shoe fell off and he was behind the line for whatever reason, and it was another object from another team that was used, I don't think that would count. And I still think it's the same with any equipment. It would have to be yours, surely. So I'm going to say that it would be out. It would be called as out because it's not his bat.
You are correct for the wrong reason. So definite half marks.
Wow. Okay.
So he is still out, but it's because he's only just managed to get to the bat. He's not. If he picked up the bat and sort of run it in, that would be all right. But you can't just because it's just laying there and he's dived and touched it. That doesn't count.
He has to.
He has to have properly had hold of the bat and run it in effectively.
That's definitely half marks there, because I would have thought if they picked it up.
Exactly. But it's an interesting one, isn't it? So if I ever do drop my bat and you're running for it, you can pick it up and you'll be all right.
Like that.
But I thought it was an interesting one. But you can't just touch the bat and hope for the best. But there you go.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, because my sort of thing would be, well, if a sun hat was in the way, like the other batsman's sun hat was there and you dived for it, I suppose, unless you then picked it up and claimed it, I guess is that key, that critical bit, isn't it? You've got to say, oh, okay, well, it's in my possession now I can use it to slide over. Or... Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, I suppose there's I'm sure there would be a way where people would just have bats that they would leave hanging, and it makes running a lot easier, doesn't it? At that point, you're running a yard shorter every time. So I'm sure that.
Well, the striker, as a striker, I would just ask you to leave your bat.
Yeah, leave the bat. Yeah, exactly.
And then I just touch that bat with my bat, so I don't have to run half as much.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure the Australians would come up with a plan there for. See, we all got off through a whole podcast without me bashing the Australians, but never mind.
Almost,
yeah. And I should look up what Joe Denley's doing at the moment, shouldn't I? See how many 3 or 4 runs he's got today. There we go. You see, I've covered them all. Tick them off at the end. Oh dear. Well, if you are still listening, thank you for sticking with us. We promise we will be back.
Organised.
Probably 2 weeks' time, being slightly more organised and with slightly more sensible things. Not sensible things. But we'll be back in a little bit more organised fashion. In the meantime, if you would like to get in touch with us, we are on Twitter and Instagram at Wrong End Podcast. You can also email us wrongendofthestick@hotmail.com. Other than that, thank you for listening. Do go on, give us... Well, to be honest, I don't think we can ask for a 5-star review after that, can we? Give us a 4-star review,
Give us 4, but,
Give us 4 with a, they'll do better next time kind of thing.
That's it. But we'll still take 5. If you want to do 5, do a 5.
Yeah,
but
if you're generous,
okay with a 4. We're okay with it.
I'd take a 4. I feel like this has been a 4-star kind of episode for us. Oh dear. Thank you for listening, everybody. Enjoy getting back outside and hopefully the end of lockdown coming up soon, and let us know how you are getting on with your cricket preparations, and we will be back soon.
Thanks very much, guys. Take care.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.